Dopamine is a crucial neurotransmitter involved in transmitting signals in the brain and throughout the body. It is produced in key areas of the brain, including the substantia nigra and the ventral tegmental area. This neurotransmitter is often associated with the brain's reward system, being released during pleasurable situations. It stimulates feelings of enjoyment and reinforcement, motivating individuals to proactively engage in certain activities. Crucial for motor control, dopamine helps regulate movement and coordination. Loss of dopamine-producing cells in the brain is a characteristic of Parkinson's disease, leading to symptoms such as tremors, rigidity, and slowness of movement. Dopamine is also involved in higher-level brain functions, including learning, memory, attention, and problem-solving. It influences mood, behavior, and cognition. This neurotransmitter plays a role in regulating the release of various hormones, inhibiting the release of prolactin from the anterior pituitary gland, which is important for lactation and reproductive functions. Imbalances in dopamine levels are linked to various psychiatric and neurological disorders, such as schizophrenia, depression, and ADHD. Dopamine plays essential roles in motivation, pleasure, learning, and motor control. It drives goal-directed behavior, enhances cognitive functions, and contributes to emotional well-being. Proper dopamine levels are crucial for experiencing pleasure, reinforcing behavior, and preventing depression. However, high dopamine release from drugs or activities like gambling can lead to addiction. Excess dopamine activity is linked to psychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, as well as impulsive and compulsive behaviors. Maintaining balanced dopamine levels is essential for optimal mental and physical health. A healthy diet, regular exercise, sufficient sleep, and stress management can help achieve this balance. Additionally, medications can help regulate dopamine activity for individuals with related disorders, highlighting the importance of equilibrium in the brain's dopamine pathways. Dopamine plays a significant role in the brain's reward and pleasure systems. It functions in the mesolimbic and mesocortical pathways, connecting the VTA, nucleus accumbens, and prefrontal cortex. Dopamine release in response to pleasurable experiences serves as a form of positive reinforcement, encouraging the repetition of beneficial behaviors like eating and socializing. It also helps in learning about rewards and adapting behavior to maximize them. Dopamine is associated with motivation, assigning importance to stimuli and actions, making certain goals more appealing and worth pursuing. It influences the amount of effort an individual is willing to exert to achieve a reward, increasing persistence in goal-directed behaviors. Many addictive substances and activities can lead to increased dopamine release, reinforcing addictive behaviors and contributing to conditions like schizophrenia and depression. High dopamine levels can lead to various physical, emotional, and cognitive symptoms. While some of these effects can be positive, excessively high levels of dopamine, especially if sustained over time, can contribute to problematic behaviors and mental health issues. Some signs of high dopamine: excessive feelings of happiness or euphoria, sometimes to an unnatural or exaggerated extent. A heightened drive to pursue goals and activities, which can sometimes lead to obsessive behaviors. In extreme cases, such as in bipolar disorder, high dopamine can contribute to manic episodes characterized by elevated mood, hyperactivity, and reduced need for sleep. Increased ability to concentrate on tasks, sometimes to the point of hyperfocus. Rapid thinking and a flood of ideas, which can be overwhelming and hard to control. Unrealistic or exaggerated beliefs about one's abilities, talents, or significance. Increased impulsive behaviors, including making hasty decisions without considering the consequences. A propensity for engaging in risky activities, such as gambling, substance abuse, or reckless driving. Maintaining balanced dopamine levels is crucial for optimal brain function and overall well-being. If you suspect that you or someone you know has abnormally high dopamine levels, it is important to consult a healthcare professional for proper evaluation and management. Hey there! Ever wondered if you might have low dopamine levels? Let's take a look at some common signs and symptoms associated with low dopamine. One of the signs of low dopamine is persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyable, also known as anhedonia. Low dopamine levels can also lead to difficulty starting or completing tasks, a general lack of drive or initiative. Increased anxiety, nervousness, or fearfulness can also be a sign of low dopamine. Another sign is a general sense of indifference and lack of enthusiasm or passion, also known as apathy. People with low dopamine levels may experience difficulty focusing, frequent mind wandering, and trouble sustaining attention. Issues with working memory, such as difficulty remembering information needed for tasks, can also be a sign of low dopamine. Impaired ability to plan, organize, and execute tasks is another potential sign of low dopamine. Persistent tiredness and low energy levels, even after adequate rest, can be a sign of low dopamine. So, if you've been experiencing any of these symptoms, it might be worth discussing them with a healthcare professional to explore the possibility of low dopamine levels. The release of dopamine in the brain can be triggered by various stimuli and activities, and the intensity of dopamine release can vary significantly. Here are some activities and substances known to release significant amounts of dopamine. Certain drugs can cause massive releases of dopamine or prevent its reuptake, leading to heightened euphoria. Examples include cocaine, amphetamines, nicotine, and opioids. Eating, especially foods high in sugar and fat, triggers dopamine release. The anticipation and consumption of tasty foods are particularly effective at increasing dopamine levels. Engaging in sexual activity and achieving orgasm significantly boosts dopamine levels, contributing to feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. Positive social interactions, such as spending time with loved ones, receiving praise, or social bonding, can enhance dopamine release. Physical activity, particularly aerobic exercise, increases dopamine release. Listening to music, meditation, achieving goals, learning, and engaging in new experiences can also trigger dopamine release. It is important to engage in healthy, balanced activities to maintain optimal dopamine levels. High levels of dopamine are generally associated with increased energy and reduced need for sleep. Stimulants that increase dopamine levels, such as caffeine and certain medications for ADHD, can make it difficult to sleep. Dopamine plays a role in regulating the sleep-wake cycle and circadian rhythms. It helps signal the brain when it's time to be awake and alert. Disruptions in dopamine signaling can affect sleep patterns and contribute to sleep disorders. Dopamine is involved in the regulation of REM, rapid eye movement sleep, which is the sleep stage associated with dreaming. Balanced dopamine levels are important for maintaining healthy REM sleep cycles. Since dopamine influences mood, and mood disorders can affect sleep, there can be indirect effects. For instance, low dopamine levels associated with depression can lead to sleep disturbances like insomnia or hypersomnia, excessive sleepiness. Some medications that increase dopamine levels, such as those used to treat Parkinson's disease, can cause side effects like insomnia or excessive daytime sleepiness, depending on how they affect the dopamine pathways. Medications that reduce dopamine activity, such as antipsychotics, can lead to drowsiness and sedation as they decrease overall arousal and alertness. Dopamine plays crucial roles in our lives, influencing motivation, reward, and pleasure. It's a neurotransmitter that affects mood, sleep, learning, and more. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more insightful content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates.